Hey everybody, Mike Hoppy here, Parliament Board Co. Welcome to another edition of Tech Talk Live. Let me turn the music down so you don't get any copyright issues. That's rock and roll legend Bob Seger you're hearing. And one of the Tech Talks did get the audio cut off on YouTube because the talking heads were in the background doing what the talking heads do, rocking and rolling. YouTube didn't like that. So Chinese masters need the money. I don't know. So, first things first, we got urethane. We got urethane in the Parliament Boards well, actually, it's not in the parliamentboards.com store yet. If you want to get at some of the best freeboarding wheels on the market, holla at your boy. Just DM me. We'll figure something out, and I'll get you some wheels at a reasonable price. Shipping included, whatever we got to do. Lucy girl, how you feeling about Tech Talk? You excited? Lucy, you excited? Are you excited for the Tech Talks? Perfect. Lucy's not going to be a lot of help today. That's fine. So Tech Talk Live. There are so many topics to cover in Tech Talk Live. We need to get into the flangers, and we need to get into some kind of practical advice, right? The wheel episode was a lot about wheel theory, kind of ideas behind the design of the wheels, the redesign of the wheels, the design of the trucks with the wheels, sizes, compatibilities in mind, etc. What we didn't do there was give a lot of real practical advice. Like, for example, if your wheels are honking, what do? That came up in the summer board forum today. I was like, well, you can crank them down tight, having good spacers and good bearings so that you can crank your wheel all the way down tight will take that little looseness and play out of it. And that, for example, didn't come up. The kind of practical, everyday thing about how to resolve these problems while you're doing it. Techniques like my back end is way too slidey. I keep doing an accidental 180. I can't tell you how many hundreds of times I got that complaint. So Tech Talk will be a lot about, technique, gear setup, tips, practical stuff that you can take right now and apply to your riding and have a good time with it. So I guess what just came to mind is something that applies to the design side. And that is that you need to be careful how long the axle shaft is before the threads start. On the G3 hangers, I believe it was the G3s, not maybe some of the sample G3Rs, the threads were too long. So if you rocked one of the wider edge wheels, especially like the entitlement urethane hate privileges now available at Parliament Boards, the outside bearing would be sitting on the threads, not on the axle, which the diameter is just slightly a better fit, slightly bigger on the axle than on the threads. So when your outside bearing is sitting on the threads, you can crank it down all the way you want, and you're still going to have that tiny fraction of a millimeter of play. That's not, usually doesn't matter. For the longest time, I rode with no spacers at all, and I would just back the nut off a little bit and just rode the wheels loose. And it's not that big a deal. But if you are getting honking, or your wheels are not the slidiest, or you just want to have the best setup you can possibly have, then spacers or the bearings with the built-in spacers are really good. Then you can crank your wheels down hard. Freeboard's applying a lot of lateral force and always in the run direction and impact of jumping, etc. Skateboard components, skateboard kingpins, skateboard bushings, skateboard wheels, skateboard deck widths, etc. are not up to the task of performing well on a freeboard because we're bigger, we're stronger, and we just go harder than everybody else. That's fact. But enough about the general thoughts. Today's Tech Talk is going to be focused on a video we came across by Summerboard. So Summerboard has their own little Tech Talks. I did not know this. And I have not watched this video yet. I watched the first 90 seconds of this video. I thought it'd be a great source of material to either agree with, disagree with, bring up new topics. This one's about wheels, about rotating your wheels. And so my computer should be online now. So let's go ahead, set up our camera here where you can see the screen. And then maybe I'll just flash you some notes. I guess the notes won't be on screen as I make them. We don't have our whiteboard because we drew all over it with a Sharpie. And without further ado, let's start the video and see what we think about the video.
Welcome to Summerboard TV.
Okay, very cool intro. Very cool intro. There's David Bickett, a good friend of mine.
Hey everyone,
Graphics.
Welcome to Summerboard TV episode 2. In this
Cool, so we missed episode 1, my bad. But we'll go back to that one probably at some point. Let's put Parliament here so everyone knows what they're watching. Is that in there? Yeah, we're fine. Okay, first of all, this is not an Aaron Ader's diss video. I'm going to try my hardest not to disparage Aaron personally. As far as I know, he's a very nice guy. He has been receptive to my reaching out for advice and collaboration. He did not yet provide any advice or offer any collaboration, but he promises that we are cool and that things will continue to be cool as long as I'm cool. And I'm cool with that. That's a great start. So Aaron was like, I can't be your mentor right now, blah, blah, blah. Like, here's a few examples of one thing I did for Summerboard is I put Summerboard bindings on my modular freeboard and gave them a shout out and gave them tags and told everyone in Tech Talk episode 1 why I prefer their bindings. That's something that I did for Summerboard just because I wanted to. Now, what you could do for me is, how'd you get that cool intro made? How did you get this sick backlit wall piece to be the background in your studio? And I'm filming mine in my mom's kitchen. So where'd you get that? Just tell me this is made by something called Custom Signs, blah, 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 down by us. If you want their number, here it is. That's the kind of thing. There's a million things that I could use your help with, Aaron, so there's 2. How do you do the graphics, and how do I get something sick like that? How do I get a big purple glowing owl face behind me when I do my Tech Talks? That would be cool. That's something we can borrow from each other, and it's not, it's a win-win, I think.
This episode, we're going to be talking about how to rotate your wheels so that you get the most life out of it. Be sure to hit that like button and subscribe with notifications so that you're the first to get every video.
Hit the like, smash the bell.
On the tips and tricks of riding.
Stay tuned for more tips and tricks. Cool. So I was wondering, my next question is, how many episodes of these are there? I would love to see more. I didn't know these existed.
Using them for steering and braking, and they're the ones that wear down the most often. And so you're going to be replacing them a bit more than the inside drive wheels.
True.
But with some regular rotation and flipping them 180 degrees in the right pattern, you can actually double the life of these wheels. When I was riding every day in New York.
So doubling the life of the wheels, I don't see how that's possible because you're going to be scraping something. Your one wheel might be smaller than the other. You may get coning, but whenever you slide, you're going to be scraping away urethane. So for the same amount of slides, you should be going through the same amount of wheels. I'm not sure how he thinks he's going to double his wheel life with rotation, but let's see.
New York City, which was generally pretty flat. I was commuting about 5 days a week, and one set of wheels would last me 4 to 6 months, even with.
What? Whoa. Okay, wow. He's riding every single day, or 5 days a week, and his edge wheels lasted 6 months. That's insane. I guess with the brake, you don't really need to do a lot of slides. And if it's flat, you're not going to be sliding super hard. But I want to say even with light spinning around and messing around, you're going to go through your wheels faster than that. So let's see how is he riding 6 months on every day on the same wheels? That's crazy. If I rode every day, the wheels last me maybe a week, maybe 2 weeks, depending on the hill and everything.
Riding. So this is how your wheels come standard. You can see.
Oh, okay. So there's center set wheels. I didn't know this either. So I saw this divot is equal on both sides. So he's talking about flipping 180. He can literally flip them 180 and they will be the same. Okay, that's okay.
When they go on here and they start to wear down over time.
Right.
This is a wheel that's been flipped a few times, and you can see a peak in the middle where that wear is ending, and it's starting to wear down.
So they're coning and then
so
flipping and then coning again. All right.
Wheels, you'll start wearing down half of one side. You can see that this gray half here, this is where the wheel tilted down.
Right, so that is the normal coning pattern, the reverse cone, where the outside of the wheel wears down first, which is actually what you want. Refer to Tech Talk episode 2 for that.
And it starts wearing that down. Now, as you start wearing more and more, this wear patch gets wider.
Right.
That will cause the wheels to do a couple things. One,
well, as the wear patch gets wider, your contact patch is getting wider. It's not till that wear reaches all the way to the inside edge of the wheel that you're really engaging the entire wheel. I would consider that coning process just breaking the wheel in. And then once you're wearing across the width of the wheel, I don't need to show you on the actual wheel, 'cause that's pretty self-explanatory, but okay.
You might start getting a honking sound.
Honking.
You start sliding. The other consequence is...
Whoa. Okay, so he says once you get all the way to the inside edge, once you're using your entire wheel, these wheels honk. Yeah, they are probably going to honk because they're center set wheels with an overhanging inner lip. So engaging the inner lip at all on these wheels, even if it is worn down flush, is giving people honking. That's actually exactly what the guy was experiencing probably... Yeah, actually, that is exactly what he said. He said they weren't honking at first, and now they're honking. So once you broke them all the way in, once you're on that inside edge, that overhanging, grippy inside edge that's not ideal for sliding, then it honks. No surprise there. So why, instead of making a better wheel that doesn't honk, what we're going to do is, I guess, now flip it around to cone it the other way.
You'll start getting more grip on the pavement because this contact patch is getting wider.
Right.
Me personally, I don't like a lot of grip on the pavement on my edge. I don't like laying down an edge and getting caught on the pavement.
Okay, so that is going to be the difference here, right? He's riding on flat ground and he has brakes on his board, so he does not need his edge wheels to stop or to slow down. So he doesn't want grip. So that's a huge difference in between freeboarding, I guess, and regular freeboarding. Regular freeboarding, we talked about this again, Tech Talk episode 2. We want as much grip as we can get because it's never going to be as grippy as a snowboard edge. We've got 2 wheels doing the job of 4 wheels. So big, grippy wheels are where it's at for traditional freeboarding, small f, little a, non-electric. He wants less grip. So now this makes sense why he would do this.
Some people really like that control that it brings. I don't. So as soon as I start getting
I
flip the wheels immediately. And as soon as you flip them and start wearing down the other side, then you're going to get that smaller contact patch again very quickly.
Right.
And that's going to really help making it more slidey and buttery and a nice flowy feel.
Definitely going to help with that. Essentially, you've taken a 50 millimeter contact patch, and instead of using the entire wheel, you flip it around and you're going to gradually be using 10, 20, 30, 40% of your contact patch as you wear down. That seems like a bad strategy to me. If you want a contact patch that is only 20 millimeters wide, 30 millimeters wide, and you want a slidey ass wheel, why don't you just make a wheel that's only 30 millimeters wide? Because with this, he's going to wear down, and then as it gets to be half and more than half and up to the full set of wheels, A, it's going to honk because the wheel is designed poorly. B, he's not going to like it because he's going to have too much grip. So he's compensating for the wheel design and making it kind of fit his style of riding. Okay, which is fair enough. You got to work with what you got.
Just to be clear, this wheel with this wear is not ready to flip. You can definitely flip it. There's nothing wrong with that, but you might as well just keep wearing it and not put the time into changing everything. But if you like changing wheels and getting that perfect pattern, sure, you can go ahead and flip a wheel.
Well, so yeah, exactly. So if you wanted your wheel to have consistent grip, you'd be flipping it all the time. You'd be going like from 40% to 60%, flip it, go back from 40 to 60, flip it, go back from 40 to 60, and then you'd effectively be riding on half of a wheel the entire time. If you want to ride on half of a wheel, if that's what's really sick for freeboarding is a wheel with a 30 millimeter contact patch, why don't you just make a wheel that's that thin or that slidey? Why would you waste time with a big gummy non-slidey wheel? Why wouldn't you make a wheel that's either super hard or super skinny, and then it would slide great all the time? You'd have half a wheel, you'd have half the grip all the time without the flipping.
I would still wait. Okay, so
Sit
the first
graphics.
thing you need to know about rotating these wheels is really how the wear pattern develops. Now, if you can see on this board that I have here, this is my personal board, and you can see on this side, the wear pattern is a bit larger and
Right.
the wheels have a lot more wear than on this side. This is because this is my back foot. The back end of your board is going to be sliding around a lot more than the front end. Now,
True.
one easy way that you can balance the wear on your wheels is just by riding switch more often, because then
Right.
you'll turn this end into the back foot and
That's
you'll start
true.
wearing that more evenly. So here you can see back.
I'd say riding switch is a great way to even out the wear pattern. Using your toe edge as much as your heel edge is a great way to change the wear pattern. And depending on how you ride, some people even wear down the front wheels faster. It depends on your weight distribution and your style of sliding, but you do not have to ride switch to get even wear on your wheels. If you're center set with your weight and you're using both your edges, you can wear down all your wheels at the same. On a mellow hill, I get pretty much even wear on almost all my wheels. On intense riding, where I'm scared as fuck and I need to slow down a lot, that rear heel side wheel is going to get most of the abuse. So that's not I'm just saying, for most people, yes, their heel side and their back wheels are going to get more wear, but that's not necessarily the case for all riders.
Foot wears a little bit more than the front foot. So in this typical wear pattern, you'll also notice that this wheel right here is worn even more than
Hey Carlos,
this
hey
wheel.
Jordan
This is
Steiner,
because
hey
this is
John
my
M.
back foot
How's it
heel
going in
side.
France? You joining the
Now,
tour?
most riders, when they go to stop, they
You guys
stop
can throw
on
questions
their
in.
heel side and just sort of stop like this. And so you're wearing those heel side wheels a little bit more, but since you're turning to make that drift with the back end having the most travel, your back foot heel side is going to wear more than any other wheel. And again, riding switch will help balance.
Can
this
you guys
out.
hear Aaron? Should I turn
This
Aaron
is
up?
kind of your max wear wheel. Your least wear wheel is your front foot toe side. That's why
Maybe.
we swap these
Maybe.
in X pattern. Whenever you're
Only
swapping
if you're
wheels
scared to
first,
slide toe
you'll
side
notice that
and you're leaning
roughly
back.
half of the wheel will be worn. So you can do a couple things. If your back foot heel wheel is wearing down a lot more than all of the other wheels, and
Then
the
you
wheels
switch
aren't
them.
really ready to
Duh.
flip, but this one is. So you can just switch these two wheels, your back foot heel with your front foot toe, and keep the wear side on the outside edge. And so that's where you're going to be wearing the wheel. And then you can work on these other wheels as they start to wear down. Now you will know that you're ready to flip a wheel from a couple of things. One is
It's
you'll
hella
start to hear
small,
kind of a
it's
honking
coning
sound,
out, and you
that's
have a
from
big fat flat
having a
spot. That's when you know you have to change your
patch
wheel.
of the wheel hitting the concrete. Another way is if you maybe develop a flat spot, which is pretty rare. You have to really be going down a hill very fast, very steep hill to get a flat spot. But if you get a flat spot, you probably want to flip those. Here on this,
You gotta go
you can see
real
I'm pretty
fast
much
down a
ready
real
to
hill to get a real
flip
flat
this
spot.
because this
I guess I
contact
do
patch is
agree with
very
that.
large, and it's starting to kind of bell out on the outside here.
Depending on your definition
Let's
of
go
real
ahead and
fast.
flip some
I guess
wheels.
once you break like 20 miles an hour, you might start
First
flat
tool
spotting.
you need is a standard skate key. You can find this at any skateboard shop or even on Amazon.
Use a skate tool. Okay, we need to probably skip some of this.
You just put the right side onto the wheel.
Yeah, okay, turn lefty
And
loosey.
just glue off because
You take it off.
So that now
Take it off. Okay.
that tighten these. And we don't want to over tighten them. So the way
You
that
do
I
want to over tighten them. If your bearings and
Is I
spacers
start
are good,
turning right.
tighten those fuckers all the way down.
and then I get it to where it's tight and I can't
If
turn
your
it more,
bearings
then
and
I back
spacers
off
are not
and
good,
turn. And then I get
then
it
don't tighten it
over
all the way
hand to make
down.
sure that the bearings are still
Leave it a
good
little loose,
and the wheel
because
isn't
that way your
caught
wheel
tight
will
back.
still spin. It needs to spin. But if you have sick bearings and sick spacers, precision made in the United
So now we
States
have our
of
wheels
America,
rotated, and we're ready to start wearing down that last edge. By doing this type
then
of
you
regular
can crank
rotation,
down your
it's really
edge
gonna help
wheels
you get the most life out of your wheels. And
just as
know
hard as you
that
want.
As you start wearing
rock
down that
fucking
one edge,
solid, baby.
This wheel doesn't need to be thrown away. Throughout one lifetime of edge wheels, you might flip them 7 or 8 times or even more. I typically like to wear the wheels down until I've worn past the marking on the label. So once you can't see the
Me
label
too.
anymore, it's probably time to throw away these wheels. Another thing you'll notice as you start wearing down the wheels,
It's time
is
to
that
do
the
hand
rocker
slides and
starts
flat
to
spot the
increase.
fuck out of them, and then
So
throw
the
them down the
rocker
hill
is
and
the
see where
amount
they bounce.
of tilt
Or
that
turn
you
them into
have
a dog toy.
on the board. And so when you first get the board, it might tilt.
Or
not that
decorate
much,
your
but
house.
Now, as we're getting more
Or
of
give
the wheel
them all
going
to
down,
Russ
it's
Richardson. Give a
increasing. And as
50-pound
that wheel
bag of
gets even
used wheels for
smaller,
Russ
it'll
Richardson, and
start
he will lathe
rocking
them,
even
and he
more.
will use
And you'll
them.
notice that the ride is a little bit different with that extra rocker. And you might like it. Whenever I put on a new, fresh pair of wheels,
I do
it's
not
kinda
like
nice to
Monster
have
Rocker.
that
If your
solid
wheel's coning so bad it
rocker
looks like a
feel.
triangle
But I
and you
really
have like
increased rocker.
more than
And
this
we might
much
even be
rocker,
coming out with a Pro
you might
wheel
have too
that will
much.
just start
I
out
like
a lot
about
smaller and will just
just
get a
enough
lot
to get
more
over the
rocker
bumps
from
in the
the
road. I like
So
my
now this
rocker to
board
be
is
about
ready
like
to go. I've
not
got
even
all
2
of the
fingers.
thick areas of the wheels on the outside edges.
especially on the back
I'm
truck.
ready to ride. All that honking, all that extra grip that I get from that larger contact patch is going to be gone immediately, and I'm just going to fly.
That's
Thanks
right.
so much for joining us on this episode. And be sure to like.
You're gonna
and
fly down the hill
subscribe with
sideways if you've
notifications
got
on this
zero
video
contact patch.
So that you can
That's
be the
true.
first to get the next episode as soon as it comes out.
So what are the lessons here? Probably that e-freeboarding wheel needs and demands are different than traditional freeboarding wheels. Demands. That's the one thing that we learned that was obvious. And then we learned righty-tighty, lefty-loosey, how to put them around. I hope we've all got that part under control. But if you need a little help with that, you can review that video. The very interesting part was the beginning. How we are flipping a symmetrical center set wheel to reduce the contact patch. Like I said, it's a bit of a compensation. The e-freeboarders should rock a harder or smaller or just thinner wheel if they want less grip. Don't just get a grippy wheel that honks when you use the entire thing, so you have to keep flipping it so you only use half the thing. Those would be my initial thoughts. Have you guys tried the Hate Privilege? They are very smooth sliding wheel, even on the inside edge. So once you get that full contact and you like the grip, because you want it to be more like snowboarding, I think they're gonna slide just fine for you, because they don't have that big overhang, not on the inside. Don't flip them around, because then you will have a gigantic overhang on the inside, but a directional asymmetrical wheel is the obvious choice. And I'd say that applies to both freeboarding and e-freeboarding. The details of that, again, are in, not to sound like a broken record here, but it's all in Tech Talk Live, episode 2. That is on YouTube, or you could probably scroll back through the Instagram gallery, find it there. That's going to be it. Let me go ahead and see if there's been any questions here in the chat. Condi B says, hey, shout out from Poland. By the way, right now there are so much freeboard inspired projects, but I prefer a normal freeboard. I saw a vid, Iron Aiders vid, I guess, where freeboard wheels had better quality than summerboard wheels.
I saw probably just a vid. I saw a vid where freeboard wheels had better quality than summerboard. I have not actually tried the summerboard wheels, but just from what I know about how they should be shaped and how they are shaped, and possibly where they're made, can't say that I know for sure where summerboard wheels are made. But profile, material, don't look great to me. But again, I haven't tried them, so I can't speak actually to the quality of the summerboard wheel. I would love to try some. Aeronators, there's another thing that I would be happy to do with you, for you. If you want to trade me a set of summerboard wheels for a set of privilege entitlement urethane, the Peach wheels, the best freeboard wheels on the market, in my opinion, let's do a straight up trade. And then we can see what we think about each other's wheels. You're going to probably like them because they're a slidey wheel. They're so slidey that the slides become so smooth that they allow you to slide more. That's the thing. The DeBlues are grippier, but at what cost, right? I get the kind of like hang up slide. I don't want it to kind of jerk me. And on rough pavement, concrete in the city, the entitlement really just flies, like you say, over the rougher pavement and in and out of the slides in a more smooth way. And that actually, the trippy thing is that actually allows me to feel more safe and more like I can slow down, because I can lock into a fucking hack of a toe side slide and not get thrown off. And I can hold that toe side slide all the fucking way down the hill if I want to, and use that for my control, rather than just the ability to get a real hard braking power right away. Are we calling it e-freeboarding or just freeboarding? Well, e-freeboarding is electric freeboarding, and freeboarding is freeboarding. Small f, little a. The flowers are nice too. The Fillmores are nice too. I've not tried the Fillmores. They leave streaks, which is kind of sick. These like white streaks. I think if you want less grip, if you're an e-freeboarder, you could definitely try the Fillmores. You're going to get Mad Rocker because they're 70 millimeter wheels. I'm not sure. Is your center wheel height adjustable? You could also rock a little riser pad underneath your hanger if you want to compensate for that. Yeah, smaller wheel. Why don't you guys just get like 65 millimeter free ride wheels and then kind of compensate the rocker, and then you'll have that nice light slide all the time without all the flipping and honking. David Bick joined. David, you're really going to want to watch the rest of this. As someone who is a great traditional freeboarder and e-freeboarder, I would love to hear your opinions on wheels. So holla back. As you know, the wedding got canceled, so I will not be seeing you for the wedding, but fucking get your ass up here and we'll do some freeboarding. That's it. I don't want my phone to die, and we've been going pretty long here, so we're going to log off. Thank you for joining us. This has been Parliament Board's Tech Talk Live, where we discuss the past, the present, and the future of freeboarding technology. Small f, little a. Catch you guys next time. Love you. Kisses.